To step in the building.
Hi,
Thank you. Hey, how you doing, Angela?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine, man. It's a blessing and a pleasure to have you on our live tonight.
Thanks for having me. I know it took us some time to get it together.
Yeah, this is all good. I understand your line of work. There's a lot of politics you got to do, so I understand that. And I ain't mad. I'm not mad. So, we're going to get straight to it. You know what I mean? It's an honor. First thing, it's an honor to have you on here, and we have the whole of Flatbush requesting for you to come up on our platform.
You asked me with that too. You said that. I was like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah, I had to show you the proof. It was the proof in the pudding. A couple of girls was like, "Yo, get Angela, get her." So I said, "Yo, we gotta get her." So let's start this off like this, Angela. What part of Flatbush you from?
I'm from East 23rd Street between Clarendon and Cortell. You right by the stairs, like literally a block away.
Oh, you're right there. You're right there.
Yeah.
So you used to go to the Ark back in the days, if anything?
I was like a little bit, I wasn't old enough to go to the art. But I lived there until I was 15 years old. So.
Okay. So what schools you went to in that neighborhood, like when you was out there?
So first I went to PS 235, and then
Okay.
I did that program prep for. What's up, Donnell Rollins? Get out of here, man. You're not from Brooklyn, son. You used to live there. Um, but yeah, so I lived there, and so I went to PS 235. My mom went to Erasmus. So my mom
Okay, E Hall.
forever,
Okay.
and then I did that program prep for prep that's in New York where they take you from, you know, what's the word that they use? Low income families. They put you in these programs. They send you to private school. So
Okay.
seventh grade to ninth grade, I went to Poly Prep.
Probably prep. I'm trying to remember where that school is at. I'm trying to put a
Bay
pinpoint.
Ridge,
What
right by the
is it,
Arizona.
baby? Okay, I'm not heard of it. I'm just trying to get the pinpoint to where it's at. So you left Flatbush and went all the way to Bay Ridge to go to school?
Listen, it was a mission, and then we had to take one of those yellow school buses, and I would, and that would stop like on Ditmas. First of all, I used to love walking from where I live over to Ditmas Park and just look at those houses because I always felt like those houses were so amazing when I was young. I
Yeah, they're very beautiful back there. Yeah, they're real beautiful back there. They're real beautiful.
Fitness Park. And so I would go there, but sometimes like I would walk to the bus stop and I would walk extra slow just so I could miss the bus. And then I would have to take the train to the last stop to go to school. So I would miss like the whole beginning of the school day.
Oh wow! So you planned this. You basically purposely did all of this.
Yeah.
So you can just see your route. So when you said the last stop, like what last stop? What train you talking about?
I think it was the R train.
Okay.
So it was a journey like to even get to the R train. Or you could take the bus. I would take the B41 to the B8.
The B8. The B8 is by like what's that? Foster, right? Or Avenue D or something like that?
I don't even remember. I just remember I had to take the B41 and then the B8 and then take that B8 all the way down, and it was like a military base where I had to get off.
Okay. I'm kind of familiar with that area. Mm-hmm. So when you grew up in that, you say like you left there when you was 15. Like what do you remember about that neighborhood? Like what were the bad things, the good things? Like what was the kind of story that you seen out there that you could never forget?
You know, I think first of all, where I lived at was in between. Like it was a really long walk to either train station, right? Like either you had to walk all the way. I'm trying to remember what stop it was, to Beverly Road to that train station, or you had to walk to. It was either the D one way or like the two. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember it was a super long walk to the train. And
Okay.
when I was younger, I didn't really travel that much outside of my neighborhood. Like the only place I ever been until I went to college outside of New York, really this whole area, was to Montserrat, where my mom is from.
Montserrat?
Yeah.
That's in Antigua or something like that,
it's
right?
Right next to it. It's like a 50.
Right next to it. Okay. My next door neighbor, family was from. Now that's rare. It's rare to find a lot of people come from Montserrat, because if I'm right, did Montserrat had a big problem with a volcano, something happened and it wiped it out?
Yeah, so there was a volcano eruption. So my grandfather, we had a 2-family house in Flatbush. My grandfather owned the house. And so my grandparents were very Caribbean. Like all he used to say to me growing up was, save your money, buy a house, save your money, buy a house, save your money, buy a house.
That's a Caribbean, that's a fact.
Day. And so he was able to retire and move back to Montserrat. And he built like his dream house from scratch. And so a huge house in Montserrat. So we would go there every Christmas and every summer and just spend time there. you know, my whole life growing up and when I was young. But that was the only place I ever been. They always make fun of me because I never been to Disney World or anything. My parents never did that. Our whole trip was just going to Montserrat. And so I just think of, when I think of Flatbush, like, I didn't know anything. You know how people might look at it like, oh, you live in a messed up neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. But you don't think right. Like, this is just where I live. I know everybody on the block. Block parties, that was one of my favorite things every year. And because our house was in the middle of the block, they always put the speaker right in front of our house. So that was really hype. Okay. You know. So
describe a block party that you can remember back in the day. Like describe, because you said that was one of your best ones. Describe a block party, speak in front of your house. Describe that to the people.
Man, I used to wake up so early when they had the block party because the music would start playing so early. So I just remember you couldn't sleep. And I'd be like, okay, first of all, you know, parking is bad in Flatbush. So
that's a fact. That's a fact.
So my mom would have to drive, like literally sometimes even alternate side parking, you know what a pain that is. So you would have to drive like and park like 8 blocks away. And we'd be circling at night if we can't.
Probably 20 blocks. You circle the block 50 times.
Yeah. And we had a big ass, ugly ass car. We had a big
kind of car?
Yellow Monte Carlo.
Woo! Bumblebee. You had a bumblebee.
My mom never could really drive that well. Like she hated driving. The only time she would drive is to move the car. That's it. Like she could park and drive a few blocks, but she wasn't an aggressive driver. She didn't really start driving until my parents moved to Jersey. And so I just remember we would have relay races and things like that. And so that's all we would do was go outside. And I love the fact that they would close up the street so that you could be in the street without any worrying about any traffic, and all the cars would be moved off the block, and just to have that like space to be able to play, that was always fun to me. Yeah, back in the day, we had more block parties back then than that you have now. Like you barely see any block parties nowadays and stuff. Especially in Flatbush, you don't see that. Right. I see. Now, what are you talking about in the comments?
I know, all in the comments. You got my people, y'all in it. But you said, where's your family from? I mean, what is your background? Can you tell the people what your background is from? I hear you talking about the West Indians, and I want to know where your background is from.
So my mom is West Indian, my dad is Chinese, and they actually met in Brooklyn. They worked at this store called Martin's, which I think it was in Flatbush too. It's not around.
Martin's? What kind of store is that?
It was a department store, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like
I'm gonna ask my mom.
Remember there was like a Loman's back in the day?
I remember that. I remember that.
It used to be Martin's.
Okay, I'm gonna ask my mom.
That's where they met.
So what island you say your father's from the West Indies?
No, he's Chinese.
No, your mother. Your father's Chinese. Mm-hmm. And your mother, what island she's from in the West Indies?
Montserrat.
Oh, Montserrat. Oh, okay. This one. I got confused. I thought it was your father from Montserrat.
That's I know people think that, but my dad is actually the one who's Chinese.
Okay. All right. So let's move on. So you went to probably.
I remember Loman's. Let me tell you something about Loman's. My mom. So this is something growing up. My mom would always make us go to Loman's, and she would shop there like all day. And it would be like a lot of Jewish people in there. I think it was like a Jewish-owned store or something. But it was like
most likely. It
was like a TJ Maxx before TJ Maxx and Marshalls and all of that. It was like designer clothes on sale. And then there was Macy's on Flatbush Avenue. So
yeah, by Snyder.
And I would go over there, and I would just go there all day and just, I didn't have any clothes. I didn't have any money, but I would go there and like try on clothes all day for no reason. Go in the fitness room. I was a girly girl. I used to be like,
you was a girly girl. You used to go in the store, just try on an outfit, take 2 pictures. Well, you couldn't take pictures. You didn't have no phone, but you just try on an outfit and then you feel good and go back home. That's what you doing?
Yeah, I just enjoyed trying on clothes.
So, like you just said about that area right there, because I'm glad you just touched that area. That's a nice block over there. And you said the Sears. I mean, and the Macy's and the Sears. Do you remember that beef patty store next door to that Macy?
Yes.
That's how I know you're a real Flatbush girl.
And then I remember, and then my parents, we used to go to McDonald's a lot. And let me tell you something. That McDonald's, I'll never forget this. They had the playground in the McDonald's. That was like.
Right.
My brother would go in there and we would eat a bunch of food, and then we would go on the little there's this thing that spins around and around, and he would get so dizzy he would throw everything up right after you.
So wait, that's your oldest brother or your youngest brother?
He's older.
So you should love to see him throw up all the time when he used to go up there, huh?
It just used to be funny.
You're a terrible young sister. So you said that you moved out of Brooklyn when you was 15 and you went to Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So by 15, that was you like in high school and all that stuff?
Yeah, I was
You
in
stepped
10th
into high school?
grade.
And so when you got into high school, what was your, I mean, when you graduated high school, like what was your major? Like
I was an English
what were you getting into?
I was an English major, so I always knew I wanted to like write, and I used to read all the time when I was younger. I used to go to the library all the time. That's why I work with the New York Public Library now. But
Okay.
that's a big deal for me because I spent so much time when I was young reading books. I didn't really watch a lot of TV. I read a lot of books all the time.
No, you're very smart. You're very smart.
They were like
That's
little
smart.
kid books, but I just enjoy reading, like, you know, all of that stuff. It's funny now because the things that we had to read when I was younger, it wasn't very diverse. Like all the stories were about, you know, white girls and stuff. So it's just interesting to me that I still feel like we have such a lack of diversity, but I wish that, you know, we would have had more options for myself.
Okay. Okay. That's true. I mean, you gotta have a little bit of diversity in you. You can't just be one way. You gotta be not mix it up a little.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how, I mean, I'm probably jumping right now, but I really want to know like how you got into this, the radio personality. Like, can you walk me through of your history of you getting into the radio thing? Because from my knowledge, I heard that you really didn't want to do radio.
Right.
You wanted to do something else,
I
more or less.
actually, you know, like I said, I wanted to write, and then I did. I worked for Wu-Tang when I first graduated from college.
Okay.
Yeah, which was a big deal, and
Okay.
big deal for me. And so,
So what you did for Wu-Tang? What you did for Wu-Tang?
so first I interned there in school. Then when I graduated, I was assistant to the CEO, and that was Riz's brother, Design.
Okay.
So I'm sure if you watch this series on Hulu, you'll.
I watched it 100 times. That's one of my best documentaries right now. It's one of the best.
So I worked there, and then I started doing marketing, and I worked doing marketing for various different companies, and then I had the opportunity to go do mornings on Sirius when they first launched Eminem station Shade 45, and I actually met Eminem while I was working for Wu-Tang before he was signed to Dr. Dre. I booked him to come and like do this Park Hill Day in Staten Island and perform. And so he wasn't signed or anything yet. He was just dope. Like he would be at Lyricist Lounge and everybody would be like,
I was just about to say that. He used to be on Lyricist Lounge back in the days of Ruckus Records and all that back in the day. I remember all of that. I used to be in the lounge all the time. Every lounge show from day one. Ant Marshall, Danny Castro. Those are my boys. I've been going to the lounge from day one.
That was like
before the clubs.
That was what 8 Mile was like, going to Lyricist Lounge.
Yeah, see, a lot of people don't know about Lyricist Lounge. Lyricist Lounge, that was like real hip hop back then. That was like real hip hop era. That was the real hip hop.
Yeah,
so continue.
So that's how I Eminem's manager. I called him about doing marketing for Sirius, and he was like, "Yo, you want to try to do the morning show with Cypher Sounds?" And just they're looking for somebody. So I was like, "Sure." And then I auditioned, and I worked there for like a couple of months, and they hired me.
Wait, you had to audition for it to get the job or something?
Video. So it wasn't up to them. They said, "We'll give you." People were auditioning for the spot, and so. Okay. I went in there and I just had to like learn how to do radio just on the cuff. Nobody was really teaching me, so I just freestyled it. But I think at Sirius they liked that because it wasn't structured. I didn't have any structure.
Right, like no structure. Like you ain't come up in there like You came up just doing you and this freestyle.
Right.
That's what I'm doing right now too. But continue, sweetheart.
Yeah, so that's really how it happened. I started at, with Cypher Sounds. And then when he left to go to Hot 97, they really wanted me to stay. So I could have went to Hot 97 with Cypher, or I could have stayed at Sirius. And they gave me they said, if you stay, we'll let you have the morning show. So I stayed.
Okay. Oh, you stayed in.
Yeah.
That was your opportunity right there then.
Right, to have my own show.
Okay. So how did that go for you when you had your own show on Shade 45? Like, did the pressure come more for you? Did the guests come through better for you? Like, how it was?
I enjoyed it. It was really fun. It was fun because I was able to I would come up with my own segments. I could book whoever I wanted. It was like running, and I just like all of this was just happening to me, and it wasn't anything I ever planned. So I was just kind of rolling with it. And fortunately that worked out. And I think part of that is I've always been a really hard worker. That's a Caribbean thing.
You got to be a hard worker. You
So,
got to be a hard worker.
so
Shit,
everything
definitely.
I ever done, like I feel like people can be really talented, but they don't work that hard. And so it really holds you back. But I feel like everything I've ever done, I've always went super hard to make sure that it was successful, because I hate the idea of something not working out. And so I don't
Okay.
mind pivoting, I don't mind restructuring, but I hate for things to not work. So I just made sure that, every single day I was going really hard.
You got to go hard because, not to say it like this, but like, you're a pretty girl. You're a pretty girl. So the first thing they're going to say, you pretty. Okay, she's pretty. But can she do the work? You know what I'm saying? Can she get the work done? Can she be professional? Can she not flirt with the guys and all that extra stuff? So it's not only that, they're looking at the work ethic, and that's what a lot of people be missing. Some people look at the beauty, but you got to look at the work ethic.
Well, thank you. It's interesting because when I even first got hired at Sirius, they were like, how did she get this job? Who did she sleep with? Da, 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 da. And I was like, I don't even know these people.
I'm glad you just said that, because I watched the interview with you today, and you said something like that. You said something like that. You were like, they were like, okay, how you got this job? You was like, well, I slept with everybody. But you know what I mean? And I was like, and I jumped back, and I was like, but then you was like, I'm just joking. But I understand your feeling, because people look at you because you're pretty, and they're like, oh, she only got the job because she's bad. She got Chinese eyes. She's a red bone. That's the only way she got this job. And I believe, me truthfully, I don't think that's always the fact with everybody. I think the hard work pays off. If your work pays off,
definitely doesn't think I'm pretty, so that's so I appreciate it.
No doubt. So, like you said, you was at Shape 45, and how that transition happened from Shape 45 and meeting up with the light-skinned guy from Queens and this North Carolina dude from North Carolina, Charlemagne. How that chemistry, not the chemistry, but how that happened.
So what happened was, when I started working there and like having my own show, what was great was that, like, yes, I did go really hard, and a lot of people were coming at me like to do other stuff. So I got an offer to go to Philly, I got an offer to go to Atlanta, and then
ATL.
Yeah, so then I ended up getting the opportunity in New York, and it was an underdog station at the time. The ratings weren't really good.
Yes, it was.
But they did offer me more money, and they did tell me, the problem I had with High 97's offer was they told me that it would be Cypher Sounds and Rosenberg, and my name wouldn't even be on the show. And I always felt like no matter what anybody says, like, I'm definitely a real New York person. So if you have a New York station, why wouldn't you want to put the one woman,
Yeah, why you don't want to put a woman on it?
So I was
They told you that? They told you that directly or subliminally?
Well, I asked when I had the meeting, and they were talking to me about hiring me. I asked Ebro, I said, was my name on the show? He said no. And I was like, why wouldn't it be? And like, it's the Cypher Sounds and Rosenberg show. I said, so it's not even like featuring Angela Yee or nothing. And he was like, oh. And so I didn't think that was a good idea or a smart move for me. I didn't feel like, already off the bat, I just had a bad vibe about it. So I said, I'd rather do something that I want to come in. And I told them that. I said, look, I just want to get myself in a position where I need to come in at the gate in a higher position than that. And so I worked really hard at it, and got my own show at Sirius once Cypher left. And then I did get a lot of offers to do my own show at places. Like in Philly, they wanted me to do the morning show and have it be my show. In Atlanta, they were trying to figure out what I could do there. And then fortunately, this opportunity came. And one thing I said in the meeting was, the first thing I said in the meeting was, is this going to be an equal thing? And that's why it's called the Breakfast Club. It's not anybody's name. It's not.
Okay.
A lot of people think it wouldn't work, because if you look at most morning shows, it's centered around one person.
Right, that's true. That's true. So, as you're saying it now, I'm keeping it up.
That formula doesn't work, whatever. But it was a big deal to me to make sure that it wasn't like I was the female sidekick. So.
Oh, that's good. That's great. That's great. I'm glad they worked it out that way, because you shine like a diamond on that platform. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
So like you said, you linked up with Envy and Charlemagne the God. And when y'all sat down, like y'all chemistry, I like y'all chemistry in the morning. Like you got the good guy, the bad guy, and then you got the good girl, bad girl in the corner over there. You know what I'm saying? Because they always come to you for some certain type of quote. So I like the morning show. So what I see you have another thing called the lip service.
Yes, my podcast.
Okay. Now lip service, if I'm correct, lip service is before the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Okay, now can you explain that? Tell me about lip service. And I want to get into the lip service.
Lip service actually started as Sirius. While I was doing the morning show with Cypher, I had this segment, and it would be like all girls talking just to kind of let guys know what women say behind the scenes. And
yes.
This segment was so good. It was once a week on Wednesday that they gave me my own show. They were like, listen, we want to give you a nighttime show. And so they have mix shows at Sirius at night on Shade 45. So they gave me my own nighttime mix show that was lip service. And so that's really how it started. I started doing it there. And then when I signed my deal, and I actually tried to keep lip service going at Sirius when I left to go to Power, but they were kind of tight that I was leaving. So they told me I couldn't, because I had it carved out of my contract. When I did my contract, I was like, carve it out so I could still do this. But
so you secured yourself from the beginning, like you ain't gonna take my shit if I leave. Good girl, a Flatbush girl for you. That's a real Flatbush girl for you.
I definitely carved it out, and so then I waited. I started doing the Breakfast Club, and I always knew I was gonna bring lip service back at some point. I just didn't know in what form, but I wanted to make sure I focused on the Breakfast Club first. So I did that, and then I did end up bringing it back.
Yeah, I see you bring it. I see you bring it back, and then you have you got co-hosts, and I know one of them is a rapper.
Oh, L'Oreal.
Yeah, what was her name again? L'Oreal, right?
Yeah.
L'Oreal, right? She's a rapper, and you have two other females on it. What's their name?
So it's L'Oreal, and L'Oreal actually, because of doing lip service, she ended up getting a show. She's on the morning show for the Morning Hustle. And it's a syndicated morning show also. So now she started doing that. It's Gigi McGuire, and she's from Philly, but she lives in Atlanta, and Stephanie Santiago.
So 4 pretty ladies sitting on a podcast talking about what girls talk about behind men's back. All right. Now this is where it gets juicy now with me. Now, what's one of the best shows that y'all have when y'all girls talk, when y'all have these conversations? What is one of the best topics that always come up? What's one of the best topics?
We love talking to guys about getting their butt played with.
I had a feeling you was going there with that. Talk it.
It's funny because, you know what? It's funny because some guys will admit it and some guys won't. It's just funny.
All right, we gonna ask these couple of people that's on this live. Guys, do y'all agree with letting a girl lick your butt? Put some thumbs up.
I want to ask you. You on the live?
Oh man, you want to ask me? I'm a little freaky. Yeah, I take it. I'm a little freaky. I'm a freak. Fuck it. I did it. Shit.
You heard it first.
Yeah, you heard it here first. I'm a freak. Fuck that. I keep it 100. Shit. I'm a grown ass man. Shit, I'm probably one of the first niggas in my team talk about I ate pussy. Shit, I keep it 100. Fuck that.
You to admit it.
Huh?
I said you the first one to admit that.
Nah, shit. You damn right. Fuck, I'm a freak. And shit, you lick the ball, they might lick the ass and shit. Hey, I'm a freak. Fuck that. I'm gonna keep it 100. But let's skip to the next shit before niggas start getting on my ass soon. And you'll be like, oh my God, you heard it here first.
You know this gonna come up.
You don't know what? Hey, shit, man. You're fire, pop. Nigga talk about fire. I'm a G, nigga. Gangster. Can't do me nothing. But, so like other things that y'all talk about in these lip service. I mean, y'all talk about like, okay, since y'all be talking about how men, y'all talk about what girls say behind men back. What behind men back. I'm gonna say what I be saying about girls back. See, some of y'all girls be acting like y'all ain't freaks, right? Y'all act like y'all ain't freaks, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna ask you now, since we on this topic now, do you like to swallow? Do you like to spit it out?
I think spitting it out is nastier than swallowing. Nobody wants to do that and then spit it out. So I would say that. And you know what? I think the double standard is that guys always act like they want a freak in the sheets, but she's a lady in the streets, right? So they don't want you to really talk about it. So I think what it is you want to make sure that as a woman, like, and that's what this service was kind of about, for us to feel more empowered to be able to talk about these topics so that we can learn from each other, make it not so taboo. And I feel like in particular, like Black women and women of color, they try to act, it's even worse for us, you know? Like white women get away with making the jokes and being sexual and doing all of that. And I think when you're in a safe space, like lip service is a very safe space for people to talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. That's a great opportunity to educate these guys on how to please us and also to learn from each other.
You got to. I mean, this is 2020, and not to be funny on that, I remember about this is like mad years ago, like 20-some years ago. I remember, not even 20-some years, about good 15. I remember a girl walking out of a building, and a girl telling a dude, no, a dude telling a girl, he was cursing her out, and he was like, yo, fuck you, you suck my dick. Right. The girl just turned around and said, who don't suck dick in this day and age? And she was right. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, dude, you played yourself. Like, who don't suck dick and who don't eat pussy? Right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, like you said, a lot of brothers will pretend like they don't, like, you know, the Jamaican, the West Indian. Yo, me like, yam pussy, yeah. Me like, yam pum pum, yeah. If you tell anybody, me yam your pum pum, man, shut down your face, the blood clot. I mean, we go through all this all the time. You know what I'm saying? But that's real. They just get off this lip service shit, because I might get stuck on this shit. You know, we having a conversation, man. This ain't an interview. Yeah, this is a conversation. It's fine. This is a conversation. That's why I say, Flatbush girl, we could talk like this. I see you got a juice bar also.
Yes.
Can you explain to the people what made you get into a juice bar?
So the juice
and where it's located?
It's because of these early mornings, and the juice bar is in Bed-Stuy on Malcolm X Boulevard. And the real reason I wanted to do that was just because I juice, and so I thought I feel like this in life, if you feel passionate about something and it's beneficial to you, other people will appreciate it too. So that's why I did that. Y'all in here lying. Who's real estate Drew talking about we don't eat? You lying. Don't let
those be the one that eating pussy from the back. Don't worry about them niggas. They eat pussy from the back. They eat pussy from the back with a Guinness on the side. Don't listen to them. You know what I'm saying? Continue with your juice bar. Don't worry about them idiot boy.
But so that's why I did it, really, you know, and I wanted to put something in our neighborhood that was good. You know, you can open a business, but you can also open a business that you feel proud that you did this. And I feel proud that we have it. And it wasn't even about money or the prices are really low when you go there. What's up, Louis V? The prices are really low when you go there. But it was about just putting something in the community that's also a space for people, because we have a lot of events there. So I do it Wednesday when we open back up, you know, once a month. We've done book signings there. We had free acting lessons from, you know, an acting coach, Stacey Moore. We had a lot of different things and events that we'll hold there. And we have a library in there, so I have books.
But Angela, you know I'm going to ask you this, right? Why you ain't bring it to Flatbush?
Well, you know what it was? So this is how I feel about, I feel like, I live in Bed-Stuy now, so it was just a little more convenient for me to have it right here. And I found a great location for it and everything. And I do feel like, you know, it is such a, like, I look at Flatbush as such a West Indian, it's like a small
Caribbean neighborhood. It is a Caribbean neighborhood.
Like, it's part of our culture to juice. As much as people try to act like, oh, we're not healthy, we're not this, you know, with CMOS, with juicing, with all of those things, that is still, there's a lot of places you can find that in Flatbush, even right now. But
we got a lot of juice bars in Flatbush.
Exactly. So I kind of felt like it was necessary here. And I'm not saying I wouldn't bring it to, you know, to Flatbush if I found the right location.
I can help you find the right location. We right on the Ave. I'm on the Junction side. You could definitely find something over there. They got a couple of spots open. We got some spots on Church.
Junction used to be that was like a party for when I got to go to the Junction when I was young.
Let's talk about it. Talk about the Junction. I mean, I'm not skipped over that. Tell me something about the Junction. You say you married. Who you know on the Junction? You say hang with, whatever, on the Junction.
Well, I know what was the name? There was a place that they had this place we used to get beef patties from there. I can't even remember.
Talking about Angel Flakes on Notion?
No.
On Notion and Glenwood on the corner?
I can't even. And then there was a place that there was a dessert place that my mom used to go to like once a month.
Roy's Bakery. Roy's Bakery.
Exactly.
Roy's Bakery. That's my hood, man. I love Roy's Bakery. I've been buying cakes from them since I was a kid. They still open.
Yeah. They had like these little rum bars she used to get me. I don't know if that was real rum in there or what, but you know.
Yeah, they
But, you know,
got
now shout out to Woodstack. Woodstack, they put a store right there by the junction.
We say it again?
It's store Woodstack. That's where I do my book club and I do my running club with this store Woodstack. And they have locations like throughout Brooklyn.
Oh, you talking about that sneaker store?
Yeah.
It's like a sneaker store. Yeah, they located on Flatbush and
it's kind of right before the
Forster.
Kind of near the
Forster, about Farragut and Forster. Right. Couple of doors down or across the street from Footprints.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, right from
not
Footprint.
that far from the junction, but you know, I like to see areas getting like our own people.
Yeah, it's developing. The hood is developing. I see that you are part of this foundation called We Are Family, an American foundation for the University of West Indies.
Yes.
What is that about?
So the We Are Family Foundation was started by Nile Rodgers. And, you know, he actually produced the song We Are Family. And he's in the group Chic also. They did like Freak Out. And he's like a huge, most famous bass player ever.
Okay.
His organization. And it's a foundation where they do a lot of things for students, for kids, for the youth, educational opportunities. And then education is obviously really big as far as a theme for me. And then for the American Foundation for the University of the West Indies, we call it a FUI. I'm on the board for that, actually.
A FUI? What did you say? A FUI?
Yeah, American Foundation for the University of the West Indies.
Okay, all right.
That's what. So they just call it a FUI, just for short.
FUI, all right. No, I was just trying to say.
So that's just basically providing scholarships for students to go to the University of the West Indies. And
okay.
In addition to that, sometimes there's hardships because of natural disasters, like it could be hurricanes, you know, so many things, as you know, volcano eruptions. So just to help take the financial burden off of the parents. A lot of times there might be a natural disaster and then it puts a burden on you to be able to go to University of the West Indies. You might be about to go to school and then something happens and now you have to pivot and worry about things going on at home. So that helps provide finances.
Oh, that's what's up. That's good. That's good.
What I really love about it is that students, and what I really love about it is the students come and they talk about it, so you get to see them, like you get to see the students who got these scholarships.
So they be from like what kind of islands they be from? Like Jamaica, Montserrat, Trinidad, all over the Caribbean, or is this all over? Yeah. You got any Guyanese people on there? I'm from Guyana. You got any Guyanese people on there?
Absolutely.
I'm from GT Scun. My family from GT Scun, right?
My realtor is Guyanese, and she's actually.
Oh, Scun. Watch him, man. He just can't, man. Watch them, man.
My realtor is Guyanese, and she's working on some projects they're about to be doing in Guyana as far as hotels and all of that. Just FYI.
Okay. Let us know if you need any help, because you know we got a lot of connection. Matter of fact, I got my boy here on this live too. His name is Flint. All Shuttles, something Shuttles. He runs hotels in Guyana right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And his family them build hotels and do a lot of buildings and stuff like that.
I've never been there, but I'm gonna probably take a trip out there later. I don't know if I'll be able to go this year now, but soon.
I'm supposed to be going with my mother. My mother and my whole family supposed to be going next year. We all gonna take all the kids and everybody. I only been there twice, when I was 7 and 9.
And you know, I think the brothers that own Mango Seed and Zura Lee are Guyanese too.
Mango Seed. I heard that name. Where that at? Yeah, I know. I heard that name. I'm trying to remember, where is it at? Mango Seed. Anybody can help me? Mango Seed. All right, so let's jump on the topics of today right now. Let's get on with today.
Okay.
How do you feel about police brutality? How you feel about this racism? How do you feel about everything that's going on out here in these streets today in New York and in the world?
It just makes you so angry. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's exhausting. It is something that is really makes you angry. It's triggering. It's difficult. Like, every single day, there's multiple cases. There's things you never heard of. There's things that happened, you know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, 8 years ago that people never got justice for. There's police officers that now we can see that lie about things. You know, it's just a lot going on right now. And fundamentally what it is that there has to be some changes, and those changes have to come from multiple different places. It has to come from the top. It has to come from within the department. It has to come from us, you know, demanding that it happen. And so it is something that, like, if you sit there and watch the news all day, you will be, you know, so depressed. Sometimes I have to be like, look, I gotta just turn this off and just do something like for a couple of hours.
I can imagine a person like you because you know you're media and you get all the information and you see a lot of stuff. And I know that sometimes it might crush you, but how do you feel when you see that man kneeling on this man's head and for 9 minutes screaming out for his mother?
It's disgusting. And I was looking at something else that just happened. And you know what's disgusting is that it's also something that is not uncommon. I'm sure, and we've been seeing so many other cases that have never even been brought to the light. So this is just one that was caught on camera. We saw it. It broke our hearts to watch it, but it's important that we feel something for it, because I also don't want people to get numb to these things happening. Sometimes people get numb because it happens so much and we don't expect any type of repercussions and we don't think we'll get justice, so we give up, and we can't never give up.
That's a fact. We can't give up. And so like you saying, we can't give up. So how do you feel about the looting? I mean, are you with it? Are you against it? I mean, with all this looting going on and people rationing stores, and how you feel about that?
Look, it's not something I would participate in, but I understand it, you know. So I understand it. Like, and I think that there was a lot more peaceful protests than people looting. But you can understand why people get angry. And I'll say this, it got so much media attention. And sometimes when things happen that is like peaceful protest, sometimes it doesn't get the attention that it needs on the media. Sometimes it takes something like that for it to be like a national emergency, for people to finally act and say, how can we make this stop? What is it that we need to do? Now we have to listen.
So would you agree to say that you have, I don't want to say the word violence, but do you have to bring damage to bring good? Do we have to bring the violence to see the good? Do you think that's a good thing to say? Or
I think that each case is different. I think that in this situation, that is what happened. And it's happened multiple times throughout history. And it's kind of like a boiling point. We get to the point where it's emotions, everything just boils over. And I think especially right now, you know, just to not see justice done, just to have people who are suffering from coronavirus and the effects of it financially, emotionally, all of those different things just combining together.
That's a fact.
It wasn't even, you know, it's George Floyd, but then, you know, we ended Breonna Taylor's mother. And
that's a fact.
Situation, you know, to have to deal with. So
no, but that's a fact, because I look at it like, if we didn't have all these problems that, I mean, if all these things didn't happen, where people was complaining at what we're doing, we wouldn't have got this new law talking about they can't choke us no more.
I'm sorry.
You wouldn't have got.
You broke up.
No, I said if all this violence didn't happen, the looting, going in the Gucci store, because it seems that's the biggest thing they talk about, the Gucci and the high brand stores. If this didn't happen, we never got the law to change that you can't choke nobody. You can't do this. Right. So I believe all these violence happen for a reason, because all they're concerned about us running in Gucci stores and vandalizing places. So they gave us what I want, and now nobody's out there. And my next thing is, do you believe that we need to stick together not only now, but forever? And it starts with us?
I would love that. Of course. I mean, I don't think it does. It doesn't only start with us. I think it's multiple things happening at once. You know, there's just too much that has been ingrained in society. So it has to start with, yes, I think it's great for us to stick together, because we see it happen in other cultures and other communities. That's what people do. They stick together and they make sure they finance each other's projects and whatever we have going on. And we have the power to do that. And we have done that before.
That's a fact.
We have built communities ourselves before that have thrived and prospered and then gotten destroyed from outside, you know, from white people. So that is something that we definitely need to do. But in addition to that, I think we also need to have people that have different roles. Some people will be part of the system. And so what that means is people need to run for office. A lot of people, I notice, you know, we talk about voting and we talk about holding your vote and all of that, but no, you have to actually not just vote, but also run for office or support people in your community who are running for office. Like I love Hakeem Jeffries, and he's our, our local senator. And Yvette Clark, I hosted a virtual fundraiser for her a couple of weeks ago. People like that
Okay.
need our support, and they need us to get behind them. We vote in New York, June 23rd. People need to make sure they get out there and vote. And the elections are in November. Also, we need to make sure we do that, and we need to be part of that process that makes decisions.
I believe that everybody needs to follow that same quote that you just finished stating, because we all need to stick together. Because we quick to say a lot of stuff, but I think we all gotta act like the police. In 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks, we're gonna forget about it. And I think that the more we talk about it, but the more that we talk about, I think we get to talk, and we just gotta put things in action. We gotta put things in action. We gotta start saying, because me talking this right now, I'm being real. I'm a street dude and all of that, but at the same time, I'm tired of all the killings. I'm tired of all the BS. And I mean, I got a son that's living out here in these streets. So I don't want to see my son go through the same thing I went through. Even though I went through a lot of dumb shit in my life, I don't want my son to do the same thing. I don't want him to absorb it. So if we could try to change it from now, that my son kids won't have to go through this. You know what I'm saying? Like go through this negative stuff every day. And I mean, the gang nonsense, because even the gang shit is bullshit. When you really start to think about it, like what you beefing for, over a color, what you beefing over, you know what I mean? It's unnecessary. So I'm not with all of that. Like I said, when I start thinking about that.
And circumstances have to change too when they talk about reallocating funds and putting them back in the community, reallocating funds from the police department and making sure that we have community centers, after school programs, better education, all of that. That is a real thing that we need, making sure that we have our small businesses and we have funds for that. And
support one another.
Opportunities, that makes such a difference because people are angry. And so sometimes we take those anger out in the wrong places. People have real trauma that they've had to deal with. And that affects how you behave as a human being. So it's not necessarily sometimes I just want to go out there and be violent. But at times it is just, I'm going through so much, and this is where I'm displacing my anger because I can't get a job, because I can't afford to go to school, because I can't afford to take care of my kids and spoil them the way I want, because I'm concerned about being able to pay my bills and pay my rent.
Yeah, but that's a fact. I mean, and it is frustration when you can't do for your kids and do certain things. So what can we do to try to stop that? I mean, because even our own people, I think they turn our back on us the worst. They the worst. Because like I might try to look for a job in a black community or in a black business, but the first thing they're gonna do is look at me and be like, "Nah, I don't want you in here. You look like a thug, or you look like this." And I'm like, "Damn, I'm trying to change myself and do better, but you won't even give me a chance." So now, what that sticks me back to go back outside and get some rocks and cut it up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We do need to make sure that we lift each other up and not have these preconceived notions and don't feed into that. But I will say, like, I also feel like a lot of my people have helped me out as well. So it definitely goes both ways. It's hard to generalize about we tear each other down the most. And I do believe that, yes, we are. And I would say in every community, there's people that are very mindful of stuff. But I also feel like we need to make sure that we spend our money with each other.
No doubt. So we're gonna start telling people, if you're in the Bed-Stuy area, check out Juices for Life. She got one. Matter of fact, hold up, you ain't gonna tell us that. Not to say you ain't tell her. Ain't Juices for Life Styles P stuff too, right?
Yes, and and that's what I love too. And this is what I'm talking about people coming together. Styles P already had 3 locations. This is the 4th one, right? And he had them in the Bronx and in Yonkers. And instead of me trying to do it on my own, I said, let me go and do something with Styles P. He already has this thing established, and he knows the drill. Like, he already knows where to order everything from. He can break it down to you much easier and better. Yeah, so I hit him up, and he was like, sis, go ahead, make it happen. And I found the location. I helped negotiate the lease for us. And I worked really closely with the designer and Leo, who is Styles P's partner, to make sure we design it to make sure the place looks amazing. Because I feel like we have something in the community that's serving us. It needs to look nice too, and it's a beautiful location. When you come there, you'll see. Like, I make sure it looks like my house. It looks like a.
I'm about to say your house look like a bar.
That's just this
Your
is
house look like a bar, to be exact.
you know.
I know. Oh, I didn't even see the books on that side. All I see was the liquor on this side.
Nothing like
I didn't even
having
see
a
the
drink
book.
while you read a book.
Oh, definitely. I know you like to get your drink on. I mean, I'm getting mine on when I'm sitting here too. Before, I mean, I'm gonna skip on to something else too. You working at 105, and that's the home of the Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm.
I had a new person come in the building. That's a legend in the game. How was that feeling for you, Angie Martinez, to come in that building? How was that feeling? Two power hitters in one building, and that's female. How that was?
First of all, you know I love me some Angie Martinez. I was telling her this the other day because I did her WeTV show a couple of days ago. It's me and Mino that are going to be on it as she's doing the stuff from home, talking about episodes. And shout out to Trav. Hey, Trav. He comes to the juice bar. But what I will say, and I told her this, like I have everybody, I think, as when you're young and growing up, idolize Angie Martinez. She was really young too. You know what
she was a voice of the city, man.
What she was able to do at such a young age and then grow her career to where she is just as relevant today as she was, that's not an easy thing to make happen. And her style, I really like it. She's very conversational. And she also has great intentions, and intent matters to me so much. Angie's not like a, let me get this wow moment, it's about me. Angie is it's more about that person. She's super humble. She don't even care about being on camera. And she just really wants to get these stories told. And so I love how she operates. She's not like trying to be a shock jock or anything like that. She has the fact that she has this Tupac interview that she's never put out, that could just be over the top, but she has her reasons for not doing it.
She got a Tupac interview that never came out?
Mm-hmm. And that's a big, big deal, but she's not chasing anything. Like Angie's not chasing anything. And so that's the situation that you want to be in, where you're not chasing things and great things are happening for you and to you, and you're pitching ideas, but you're not chasing it. And that's what Angie is to me, you know, just a real role model. And I love the fact that, you know, there's times that we'll go out and have drinks and she's so much fun. And I'll be like, I'm sitting here with Angie Martinez, like I still be having to think about that.
She's the GOAT, man. She's the GOAT. I mean, and you're a GOAT too. Don't get it twisted. We ain't leaving you out because Angie's the GOAT.
I'm not nowhere near on that level, so not. But
no, Angela.
But I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
You up there. You up there. In my eyes, far as females, radio personality, yes, Angie's the GOAT. But you're up there with her. I mean, I feel what you're saying. Or you feel you're
okay with
accomplished, but I feel you up there because the way you carry yourself remind me of Angie. The way Angie carry herself. You don't hear dirty shit about Angie. You don't hear dirty shit about you. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the way you carry yourself professionally around millionaires, and y'all not falling weak and be like, okay, you got $1 million? Okay, take me home. Now, you know what I mean? No, y'all being business minded and y'all move forward.
Look, y'all can all go in Angie's comments right now because everybody want to see her interview with Tupac. Everybody go drop that Tupac in her, just put it in her comments.
We definitely. Everybody from We Are Flatbush, go tell Angie that we want to see that Tupac because Angela Yee said so. Angela Lee said from Flatbush we want to say so. But I mean, I think we talked about a lot of stuff here tonight, Angela.
Yes.
The Breakfast Club is one thing I want to ask you about again. Your Breakfast Club moment. I ain't gonna ask you about none of the cornball shit. Don't even worry about that. Because cornballs is cornballs. I'm from Flatbush. Even though we banged the Gucci store, he's an asshole. But and I say it to his grill too. It ain't nothing. I lived in ATL for 10 years. On the east side, Memorial Drive, Stainless, Miami Club Miami and all that, Velvet Room and all of that. Be in all them spots. But tell me one of your best moments in the Breakfast Club before we get out of here. Tell me one of your best moments.
One of my best moments? Man, I'm trying to think. Because we've had some really legendary moments, you know.
Which one made you go home and be like, damn?
I'm trying to think. You know, and sometimes it's damn, like, because it's so, you know, it's going to really go. And sometimes it's just a personal, like, damn, that's dope.
Right.
You know, so I would say there's certain people I always enjoy talking to. I'm trying to think of what moments really, really went viral, but like in a positive way. You know?
Somebody said raging.
But it's not usually because it's positive.
That's why I said I ain't want to talk about the corny. The corny shit is the corny shit. They use corny for that one.
Right.
But matter of fact, that was a corny one. But I want to ask you this one. This is what I want to ask you. That day when Birdman came in there, what was the vibe in that ear? Like he came in there on some old, leave my name out your mouth, leave my name. I'm like, what was the vibe in that room in that moment, in that morning?
From my understanding, he came and wanted to do the interview. That was his
right. That's what I heard too.
He came up there and I guess he thought he was gonna be cool, but then he got mad when get there. He got mad, and so it is what it is. And then I think he didn't realize the cameras were rolling, the video was on, and the audio was on. So I don't think he thought that it was going to be something that we would even want to put out. Yeah,
he thought that. He thought wrong. He thought wrong with his crawfish and ball peanuts ass motherfucker. But I want to thank you for coming on this platform tonight, man. I really appreciate it. My followers, my peoples, the whole of Flatbush, we appreciate you for coming on here. It's an honor just to speak to you for 60 minutes. And is there any last thing you want to say to Flatbush before we get out of here?
First of all, I'm so proud to be from Flatbush. That's really what made me who I am today. And so that's someplace that I'm hoping that in the future, I still be thinking about, I'm going to get a house in Gymnast Park one day. When I don't have to drive to the city to go to work every day. I'm crazy trying to get back home. But I still, every day, I be looking at houses because those houses are so beautiful and Brooklyn, I just want to make sure that we support our own businesses. Right now is the time. If there's something that you want to do, now's the time. All these companies are trying to pour money into being more diverse and proving the point. So let's make it happen.
Thank you. Let's make it happen.
Brooklyn stuff.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Really appreciate you. I love you for the fact of all of this, man. So as we are Flatbush, and we tuning out the Angela Yee from Breakfast Club 105, Lip Service, and the GOAT, the upcoming GOAT. All right? Thank you, Angela. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate you.